You're only as fucking smart as this week's lines. One false move and you spend your fucking time chasing it instead of making money.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again. Gambling is a very serious business.
Is that clear?
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Welcome to the Fabulous Big Bet Podcast, part of the DWZ Fantasy Sports Network. And here are your hosts, Memphis at DWZ Memphis and Dr. Kyle at DWZ_Dr. PT. And now to the Fabulous Big Bets.
Here's an idea. Why don't you give me half the money you were going to bet? Then we'll go out back, I'll kick you in the nuts, and we'll call it a day.
Tell us a little bit about Hate Brand. When did that start, and how are things going with it?
Things are good, man. That started in October of 2014, so now give or take 7 years into doing whatever this thing is. And that's apparel company I started then and wanted to start making some clothes that I wanted to wear is really where it started.
Did it start more with you writing something first? Was it like an ebook or something that you put out, or?
Yeah, it's a book, and then we made an ebook. So I wrote a book in 2010 of how to train for the Highland Games called Training Lab. And one of the sections I wrote about in the book is called The Hate. And this was just this kind of personal philosophy I had that my brother and I had spoke about just with athletes that we admired. And it was these guys that just, still on top, still willing to do the work to get better, that it seemed their concern was always about them getting better to their standard and not about what had to do with anyone else.
So they didn't hate other people.
This idea that you see those guys get up in the morning on like 4 a.m. and it's, that dude hates himself more than me. That guy's willing to put in the work. He's willing to do it. And so from that point on, it was about like, I'm all right with getting beaten by someone better than me, but I'm not willing to be outworked.
What's happening, guys? Happy Thursday and welcome to the Fabulous Big Bet. I am your host. My name is Memphis, and back from another night of gallivanting on the town, it is my co-host. You know him as Dr. Kyle Bowser. You can follow him at DWZ_Dr. PT. I know him as the dirtiest player in the game. Dr. Kyle, man, what's up?
Hiya, pal.
Where you been, buddy?
Everywhere.
Is that one of those I've been everywhere, man?
Yes, but don't you dare get that song stuck in my head right now.
Yeah, total earworm over there with that. So little was it live music, live comedy? What were you into last week?
Last week was Wednesday night was a Rangers game. Took my buddy who's a Flyers fan to Rangers Flyers at the Garden and got to watch the Rangers beat his Flyers asses down.
Well, there explains it. Dr. Kyle, man about town. We're not going to waste any time because we ain't got any time to waste. But do want to make sure to tell you that we have a little YouTube channel. And you can always find stuff like this. And you know what? Had you watched this live on the YouTube channel last week, Dr. Kyle, you would have been on the right side of a lot of numbers last week.
I love to hear that. I mean, you held it down while I was gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. Got to keep this train on the tracks. Keep everything rolling. But, man, we're doing all kinds of good stuff. And, get over there. Interact with us if you're into Dynasty Fantasy Football, Redraft, DFS. If you're into football in any form, shape, or fashion, we've got something for you. So jump in with us. Dynasty Warzone on YouTube. Don't be afraid to comment. One of us may comment back. But we are going to get into the recap, Dr. Kyle. Now, I'm going to read your recap. Now, you had a good week. A little suspect that you weren't here.
They were all in. They weren't in for when you did the live stream, but I got them in. I got them in before I listened to the Dream Preview because I want my opinions honest before I start hearing what Fez and RJ and AJ have to say.
I will give you this. I doubled before I gave you even partial credit for this week. I checked your Twitter account. And you had posted these in what I would consider a reasonable enough time. You posted them before the game started, so I gave you official credit. A good week for you. So I'll start with my prop. On the New Orleans Dallas game, I had a prop on Tony Pollard over 2.5 receptions plus money. We got it at plus money. We got it at plus 110. It went off at minus 120. 30 cents of closing line value. He had 2 catches in the first half. Not a damn thing thereafter. Total bummer. But that was the only prop I missed last week. If you listened to Football Sunday School with me and my man Jesse, I hit on 3 props on Sunday. I hit on Elijah Mitchell over his receiving yards. I hit on Russell Wilson over his rushing yards, and I hit Tyler Conklin over his receptions. So 3-1 on props. Wasn't very nice of Tony Pollard to be my one miss, but it happens. Your big bet last week, you had Detroit plus the 7, and that was a win for you. I had Minnesota. I went 3-2. You went 4-1. The only thing that kept me from 4-1 2 weeks in a row was the 4 seconds. 4 seconds in the Lions-Minnesota game. But you know what? Happy to see it. I like Dan Campbell. I know people think he's a bad coach and a knucklehead. I was happy for him and the team. So that caused me so if it was anybody else, I probably would have been shitty to lose a teaser like that with 4 seconds left, because I would have been on the right side, as would have you. I would have had them teased down to 1 point. They would have won by 3 or 4. And I would have skated on. I got the other end of my teaser leg in. Philly beat the brakes off the Jets, so I was good there. Speaking of Philly, you had them minus the 3.5. So that was another win for you.
In the first half.
Yeah, you had the Chargers and Bengals over 50. Another win for you. I had the Bengals minus 3. That was my second loss. So I lost my teaser. I lost Cincinnati minus 3. I had the under in the Giants and Miami game. Never really had to sweat that. That was I don't want to say a never sweat, but not a whole lot going on. I had under 49.5 in the Raiders football team game. Again, finished 17-15. That was a zero sweat game. You had Pittsburgh plus the 4.5 with Baltimore. That was a win for you.
Yep.
You had the under in the San Francisco-Seattle game, and that was your only loss. And then my big bet last week, I had the under in the New England Patriots Buffalo Bills game. I had
what did that close at?
It closed at 38.5, which
That's
you
value.
still got there, but we had it at 43.5. So I went 3-2. You went 4-1. Good thing, because you had been on fire on your leans. You went 0-5 on leans. I went 1-2 on leans, but I did add everything up. I like to give everybody total. So on total bets, so on big bet for the season, we are a combined 15-11. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Those are our biggest, best plays of the week. We are 15-11. On our bets, we are 63, 64-2. So we are one game below 500.
Okay.
And then on leans, which a lot of podcasts don't score or keep track of leans, but we do. We're 57, 52-2. So you add all that up. You add up all of our bets and all of our leans on the season, because the big bets are lumped in there. Mm-hmm. We're 120, 117-4 combined as a tandem, as a unit. Now, I will not go into our own individual records, as not to pat myself on the back, but let's just say maybe I'm holding the lion's share. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. We got 4 weeks left. We have the playoffs. Actually, I think we have 5 weeks left. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
14, 15, 16, 17.
You're a doctor.
This is the longest season ever. But
I'm having so much fun with this season. But there's your recap. Another good week combined between me and Dr. Kyle. 7-3. I'll take it, man. We've been very hot lately. Starting to get the feel of some things, and that's your recap. That is brought to you by BetUS.com. That is the official odds provider of the Fabulous Big Bet and the DWZ Football Network. You can head over there right now. Just go to BetUS.com. Or if you're listening to this in podcast, you can go into the show notes. There's a hyperlink right there. Takes you right to the website. You can get set up with an account. And when you get set up with an account, you can use promo code Memphis. They'll do a deposit match. and there's a casino match as part of that as well. So you support the show, you get an action. Kyle, you get an extra out. You signed up for this. One of our patrons, Nick, signed up for this. Very easy. I've heard nothing but good things about BetUS.com.
No complaints. Not compared to some of the previous books I've used.
At least without. At least you're not complaining about about BetUS. You might complain about something else. You might complain about the Rangers or something else, but not about BetUS.com. So man, let's get into it because we're trying to keep this to the 30-minute version, and we're going to kick it off Thursday Night Football. We both have action on this game. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Minnesota. One, Pittsburgh coming off the win, Minnesota coming off the loss to the Lions. Minnesota laying 3 at home, total 44.5. Go, man, go.
This is quick for me. I feel like Pittsburgh really used all their energy to get up for a big win against the Ravens on Sunday, and Minnesota fell flat in Detroit. So I'm going to take the team who feels more must-win this time at home on short rest with a solid coach against the spread in history. So I want Zimmer getting just laying the 3. I do wonder if this will get to 2.5 because Pittsburgh just had a fairly big win and Minnesota had the bad loss. So if we're thinking, the squares are betting between right now and maybe Sunday morning, that could move to 2.5. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. But that's my big bet. I'm high on Minnesota this week.
Yeah, I've got action on Minnesota. I actually have 2 bets, 2 of my 5 this week. And by the way, you shouldn't be playing 5. We pick 5 here because it's a good number. I know in the Super Contest in Vegas, they do sides only. We do totals as well. But I also have Minnesota laying the 3. I'm taking Minnesota minus the 3. Minnesota's 4-2 coming off of a loss against the spread. And Pittsburgh is 0-4 out of conference this year against the spread. Do me a favor and mute your mic because there's sirens in the background and it's very distracting.
They're coming for us, Memphis.
I guess
they know this is highway robbery.
They feel like we're robbing the book over at BetUS.com. But yeah, I'm taking Minnesota. I'm laying the 3 again. If the sirens distracted you as much as they did me, Minnesota 4-2 coming off of a loss against the spread. Pittsburgh 0-4 against the spread out of conference, and 1-4 against the spread coming off of a win. The trends back up Minnesota. I know people don't love Kirk Cousins on prime time, but that's one of my bets. My other bet is over 44.5, and this is really about Minnesota. They've been in a ton of shootouts lately, and I know it was an AFC North brutal beatdown game with Baltimore, but Minnesota over their last 5 games, their totals have been 50, 60, 64, 47, 65. Pittsburgh's offense is not going to set the world on fire, but they've got weapons. They're healthy. And one of the props that I like, I think I'm going to make this my official prop, Dr. Kyle. I am going to go Big Ben over 1.5 touchdowns. I think Big Ben's going to get you at least 2 tutties in the air this week. That's going to be my Thursday night prop. A lot of action on Thursday night. Anything on that before we move on?
Nope. Let's do it.
I love it. We got rid of the cops and the fire trucks, and we're ready to go to Sunday, 1:00. Now, next week when we do this show, we'll have a full slate, 16 games, and Saturday action. But this Sunday, 1 p.m., we have the Las Vegas Raiders going to Kansas City. Kansas City laying 10, 48-point total. What you got, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, I do not like the slate this week, so I got some different sides or halves to go with, but I'm over the Chiefs team total here. I don't know what to expect out of the Vegas offense. I just know this defense can't stop Kansas City for, the better part of 2.5 years now, which is more or less the Mahomes era. And the Chiefs have gone over 29, which is their implied team total right now in 4 straight. So I'm going Chiefs over 29 points.
I wish you the best, but I can't co-sign on that. I lean the under in this game. I just feel like that Kansas City, that was the only good game their offense has had. I mean, they barely scored 22 points against Denver last week, and 7 of those points came on a pick six. So I'm not sure what this offense looks like. I guess if there's anything that cures what ails you, it would be the Oakland, now Las Vegas Raiders defense. We have New Orleans, road favorite, going to the New York Jets. Not exactly sure who's under quarterback. You actually have a lean. The Jets are getting 5 at home, total of 43. You lean to New Orleans, as do I. Anything to drop?
I thought this past week was a good week to be on the Jets, and then they got Gardner Minshew'd. And so I'm not ready to get back on them yet, just knowing Sean Payton's going to be out for blood, I think. So I think just that Sean Payton, a very good defensive scheming coach against Zach Wilson. I got to lean New Orleans, though. I did see, one of the things I've looked at as the season has gone on is first half team totals, because I think it's an easier way to take advantage of some lines because it's, probably a little bit less frequently bet by the public. New Orleans is trending in the wrong direction for points scored in the first half, and the Jets are actually trending in the right direction. They were terrible in the first half of the year, and they're over the past 3 games, they're averaging something like 15, 16, or 17. No. So the Jets on the season are averaging 7 points in the first half, but over the last 3, that's 12. And New Orleans is averaging 5 points in the first half right now. So perhaps a way to take advantage of this game is if you like New Orleans, maybe let the first half play out a bit and then bet it live.
Yeah, for me, they're getting Alvin Kamara back, and the Jets have given up the most rushing yards in the NFL, definitely in the top 3 allowed. That's my lean to New Orleans. San Francisco and Cincinnati's a pick. Total of 48.5. The game is in Cincinnati. You have another derivative bet.
Going over the first half, going back to those first half point totals, in the past 3 games, San Francisco and Cincinnati are the second and third highest scoring teams.
Yeah, my only thing is we double checked the weather. I had nothing on this game. I want to say San Francisco, but I don't trust either one of these teams. I don't know who the running back for San Francisco is going to be. So that's why
I worry more about the Bengals O-line this week. That was an issue last week. That came out.
Yeah, they were missing 3 starters. That's why I don't. That's why I started to look at the total on this game to look to the over. I think this will be a slow start. I think you could be in some trouble there with the over in the first half, but we shall see. Because if they can't run the ball and a lot of stalled drives, because if they're trying to run the ball, the clock's going to be running. So certainly something to look at. Jacksonville on the road at Tennessee. Tennessee coming off the bye, laying 10 at home, 43.5. A couple of nothing burgers for both of us here. I could see Jacksonville winning this game outright if Tennessee hadn't been coming off the bye, but Tennessee has like a knack for losing to bad teams. Oh, yeah. They lost to Houston. They lost to the Jets. If they weren't coming off the bye, maybe I would like a little something on the Jags money line, but I'm not touching this game in any form or fashion.
Nope.
Baltimore going to Cleveland. These teams, Cleveland's last game was Baltimore, had a bye, back to playing Baltimore. Baltimore going to Cleveland this time. Cleveland laying 2.5 at home, total of 42, and you have another derivative or another total bet.
Yeah, I'm going over the total in this one. I think this is, I don't know what the look ahead for this total was. I don't know if there was a total on this game prior to the last game, but I feel like it's probably lower because of that game 2 weeks ago. And I want to say that the weather wasn't great for that one, and the weather should be clear. I'm looking at Cincinnati too. Cincinnati looks like it should be, just a cold Sunday, 40-degree weather, and similar in Cleveland. 6 of the last 7 games between Cleveland and Baltimore, so that last one aside, have gone over this total. I think Baltimore needs a get-right spot, and Cleveland is probably feeling as healthy as they've been coming off the bye. So I think this will be a little bit more of a classic. I don't want to call it a shootout, but with a total of 42, if either team hits 24, the over looks good here.
I think the only thing, my concern is even with like 6 turnovers last time, they couldn't get over this. I mean, Lamar had 4 INTs. but that was a primetime game, big spot. So this is, in my opinion, this is Cleveland's season on the line.
Yeah.
They're currently 6-6. So I actually have Baltimore in a teaser. So this is my one teaser of the week. I don't try to force a teaser, but sometimes they just happen. I happen to like this 2.5. I'm going to tease Baltimore up to plus 8.5. And I'm going to pair them with the Rams. I'm going to tease the Rams up to plus 8.5 against Arizona. I'll get into my rationale. I just don't see Cleveland getting margin against the Lamar Jackson team. I know the Ravens secondary is going to be wrecked, but if there's one quarterback and one wide receiver group, I'm not too concerned about wrecking Baltimore's newly anemic secondary. It's Cleveland. So for me, this is my teaser. Again, Baltimore teased up to plus 8.5. Rams also teased up to plus 8.5. I'll break that game down a little bit later in the show. Atlanta on the road at Carolina, minus 2.5. 42.5 is the total. I just put like nothing really on the game, but I put Atlanta teaser question mark. If I was going to do anything, I would tease Atlanta from plus 2.5 to plus 8.5 as a potential teaser leg. Because Atlanta's offense can score.
Yeah. I mean, when Cordarrelle Patterson's healthy, they score points, and
absolutely. I don't. I'll be looking under Kyle Pitts's yardage and receptions prop. Last time these two teams played, they put Stephon Gilmore on Pitts and kind of took their chances with everybody else. So something I'll be looking at. Make sure you tune in to Football Sunday School with me and my main man, Jesse, and we'll get into this game as well. Dallas, road favorite going to Washington, the football team. Dallas laying 4 on the road, total of 48. We both have a little something on this game. I'm going to let you go first.
Dallas, they haven't looked the greatest lately, but they'd had the classic 3 games in 18 days or something? No, 3 games in, I can't do math right now. They played Sunday, Thursday. And so they're finally getting their long rest against a team who's not matching their rest like they had with New Orleans last week. And I think Washington's due for a flat spot. Washington has I think they've won 4 straight. And I think the Cowboys spread tax was inflated over the past few weeks. I think we get to capture the Cowboys a bit low again and sell high on Washington.
No, I don't buy it. I don't think Dallas is who they were. And this
Are you hitting the button? Hit the button.
No, because I have the under.
Hit the button.
I don't have a button to hit. I had nothing on the total, but I'm going under. I'm going under 48. So since Dallas's week 7 bye, their team totals have been 36, 46, 46, 28, 69, nice, 44. And since the Washington football team's week 9 bye, their totals have been 48, 48, 32. The Washington football defense has come on. I'm not sure about the overall health of the Dallas offensive line. I think this is going to be an ugly, low-scoring slugfest. I do know that Dallas should be as healthy as they've been in a while with the wide receiver group, but I'm still going under. I think that you're going to see a lot of Antonio Gibson. I think you're going to see a lot of Zeke and Pollard. I still don't think Dak's right with the calf and the fact that this is outside in Washington and not on the fast track in Dallas. I'm going under. Final 1 p.m. game, Seattle on the road at Houston. Seattle is a 9-point road favorite and total of 42. You have I have nothing, no lean, no like, no bet, no nothing.
I'll lean Houston. Seattle's 0-3 against the spread coming off of a win. I think that game was just, they really wanted to get up for 49ers. Think about how trash Seattle looked before that game. Not that I love Houston, but you get 9 points at home. Give me that.
Well, we'll speed through these 4 o'clock games because we've only got one piece of action the rest of the way. Detroit at Denver. Denver laying 9 at home, total of 42. I'm going under the 42, and I know it's a low number, but defense is going to reign supreme here. Denver at home, Detroit in the mile-high altitude, and Detroit has the 7th highest percentage of games going under on the season. 66.7% of all Detroit games go under, and Denver has the highest percentage of their games going under at 83.3% of the time. These are two under teams. I'm betting on Jared Goff and Teddy Bridgewater to go under. If we get Melvin Gordon for the Broncos and Swift back for the Lions, this is going to be a run fest. Run. I would not be surprised if this was the shortest, like if you put it like on like a stopwatch.
Yeah.
If this was not actually
like speed chess.
Yes, it would be the short, like, the average NFL game's like 3.5 hours. If I had to put money on one game going sub 3 hours total time, it would be this one right here. So I'm going under 42 points with Detroit and Denver. Couple of good field goal kickers, and I think that's how the points get scored. Giants going to LA, big road trip all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. And the Chargers are laying 10.5 at home, 44-point total. Either one of us have nothing from either one of us. Buffalo going to Tampa Bay. This will be the marquee game of the afternoon. Tampa Bay laying 3.5 at home. Highest total of the week, 52.5. You lean Buffalo. I lean to the over. This has like the earmark of like a 31-35 game.
Yeah, and I just want to be on the right side of the hook with this one. I think everybody's going to be on Tampa Bay with this one, but as I was doing my research on this one, Buffalo's good on a rest disadvantage, and I want to say they're good as a road dog as well. I think they need to have a message or make a statement after losing to the Patriots. And look, we could say what we want about how that game went down, but that game was set up for Belichick. Like he knew going in, like.
That's a little bit of a misnomer. Again, I'm not making another Monday night excuse for the Bills because the Josh Allen slipped against Tennessee earlier in the season. They had a couple of shots at that, but Bill Belichick did not dominate that game. I'm
not saying that the Bills just should have won.
They just didn't execute. I just think there's so much hype right now on New England, and they're playing well, but they're by no means blowing. I think the reason why I would lean Buffalo is this is their season, just like I said, Cleveland.
Yeah,
they're currently 7-5, and if they lose to Tampa Bay, they'll be 7-6. They'll be tied with the Colts, who are currently on the outside looking in of the playoffs as we speak. Well, if they drop to 7-6 to have the same record with the Colts have the tiebreaker. And that lets Miami kind of creep back into, same thing with Cleveland, that lets Miami creep back into the playoff picture at 6-7. So a lot more on the line for Buffalo than there is Tampa Bay. Correct. So I think they'll be realizing they're playing for their season. So that would be more the reason why I would lean to Buffalo. Sunday night football, we have the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields back under center going to Green Bay. Green Bay laying almost 2 tutties, laying 13, total of 43.5. I have nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Nothing. If I had to lean anything, I think I would lean over. I think Aaron Rodgers coming out of the bye is going to want to state his case for the MVP, especially – now, let's say that Buffalo does go into Tampa Bay and they make Tom Brady look pedestrian and they win that game outright. This is a chance for Aaron Rodgers to reintroduce himself into the MVP conversation. If Tom Brady has a stinker, and by that point, Aaron Rodgers would know he had a stinker. And if Aaron Rodgers could go out and hang 4 tutties on the Bears, he will. First of all, it's a rivalry game. They love beating the snot out of the Bears. And I think if Aaron Rodgers scored – 28, 31 points. I think the Bears could at least score a couple of garbage time touchdowns to keep it close. So certainly something to keep an eye on. And then the final game, LA Rams going to Arizona. Arizona laying 2.5 at home. So if you consider home field 2.5, they consider these teams even on a neutral. Another high total, 51.5. This is the other half of my teaser. I think you're going to see as an inspired of a Rams team as you could possibly see. Because, it's kind of like chess or any other like poker. Kyle, you ever play Hold'em?
Hell yeah.
You get to see how the hand, if you're at the back end of the action, you get to see how the board comes out and how the action's going. And that's what the LA Rams are going to be able to do. Yep. If they see Tampa Bay win, if they see Green Bay win, if they see these teams, if they see Dallas win, they know they're going to have to win to keep pace. And they can't afford it. So I think you're going to get the best effort, whereas Arizona is 10-2, and they don't have their season. I don't say the Rams season isn't on the line because the NFC is cheeks in the wild card range, but it puts a lot more pressure on them. So this could certainly help the Rams as it relates to the division race coming down the season. So that's why I don't know that they went outright, but I would sure like to have them plus 8.5 points. That's why I teased them up with Baltimore. And that's the week. That's the spread. That's the book. What do you got?
Rapid fire.
30 minutes or less, like a pizza.
I'm leaving for Vegas tomorrow. I'm going to be in Vegas and Park City next week. So, yes.
Imagine that. Another week, another traveling edition of Dr. Kyle. Or listen, if we're going to keep this thing to exactly a 30-minute show with ads and intros, we're going to get going. Make sure you check out my boy Matt over at Hate Brand Goods. I've got the good doctor here hooked on the message, on the brand, and it's not what you think. My wife always gets it confused. She's like, I hate the name, and I am. Oh God, he's showing us his leg. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can see Dr. Kyle's leg. He's wearing is that the Mexican blanket?
Sure are.
Sure are. We always wear those on Tuesday in the gym because it's Taco Tuesday. But head over to Hate Brand Goods. That's HVIII.com. Check it out, man. It's a great lifestyle brand, great athletic apparel for the gym. Again, that's my preferred short. 5 and 7 inch inseam. Like them a little bit shorter for them squats, But they've also got great joggers. They have a new pair of the Ultimate Premium Jogger, Kyle, coming out in gray, like a light heather gray. I got to get in on those. I'm wearing the black ones right now. Now, I'm not going to turn my webcam down to my junk area.
Do it.
But I wore these to baseball practice tonight because they're great, a nice fit, and I suggest you check them out. That's HVIII.com. Use promo code Memphis. You'll save money on checkout. And on that note, Dr. Kyle, let's get out of here.
Yeah, Mike Kinney, my apologies. Too much is right. Peace.
Too much. But on behalf of Too Much, Dr. Kyle, who may or may not be here next week, I am your host, Memphis. And remember, here at the Fabulous Big Bet, we like to remind you that money won is twice as sweet as money earned. Have a great week. Good luck. We'll see you on Sunday for some prop bets. Thanks, guys.
$1,000 is a cool G, as we call it back home. Are you at liberty to play for that, Stanley? Would you prefer to play for Smiles?